MRW, up or
Do you wanna
down,
serve
balls
or
up,
do you wanna
balls down,
return?
POD.
Which side is the sun, man? Are we serving? Wait, which play is that?
Spin the Racket.
Welcome back to Spin the Racket, the recreational tennis pod, covering everything from the Pro Tour to the everyday league player. I'm your boy G.
And I'm Lou.
Pro tennis is officially back. It is time for the first slam of the year, the Australian Open. We have Rishi Loungani from Inside Sports Network joining us today to preview the tournament and line up our predictions. Rish, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me on. Look forward to chopping it up about the Aussie Open and really pumped for our first slam.
Oh, yes. The happy slam, as they call it.
Yeah.
It's a good time. I feel like it's always tricky just trying to balance my enthusiasm for the slam with the sleep schedule that I'm trying to commit to of waking up at 5 a.m. and going to bed at 9 p.m. Like Aussie Open is not really conducive for that.
Yeah, you can develop that, in February, March. It's fine.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm pretty pumped for it. I don't know. I feel like I was watching some of the United Cup exhibition style tennis, and then some of the lead up Auckland and Adelaide tournaments, and kind of seeing where people's forms are. But I feel like you never know, because if folks come off of the off season and they're hyped, ready to go, oftentimes, but then you have some people that are still injured. Some people take a little bit longer to kind of ramp up. So I feel like this first slam is always a fun one because you have some unpredictable results.
Yeah, no, I fully agree with you. I think there's a lot of variance, more than there would be earlier in the year, especially on WTA side. I feel like on the ATP side, it's a little bit predictable about where we're going. But yeah, to your point, it's who's going to come out the gates firing, who's going to be ready, and I feel like towards the back end of the year when we're talking US Open and stuff, you kind of see people on their last legs. Now we have people that are, some of them taking a month off, now just getting into it. And to your point, watching United Cup and Adelaide and Brisbane, you can kind of see, who's starting to ramp up. So no, really, really excited for it.
Absolutely. Lou, I can't remember, was Australian, I know we ranked the slams in one of our earlier podcast episodes. Where did Australian rank for you?
Dan, you're putting me in the spot right now. I'm pretty sure I did. I think Wimbledon, and then I'm pretty sure Australian was actually at the bottom, dude.
Wow.
It was Australian, Roland Garros, then US Open, and then Australian. And then it's tough, right? Because you're asking me to pick between four major, four Grand Slams. So they're obviously goated, but they each have their thing. It's just more about legacy, in my opinion. And I mean, if you ask every player, which slam would you want to win? I think, 8 out of 10 will say Wimbledon. And so that one's definitely clearly the winner by a solid margin. And then you have the other three. It depends on where you're from and all that stuff, right? But the Australian Open is very exciting for me. I have never managed to just watch a lot of it live because of how messed up the scheduling is. I just realized I was going through their Instagram, and Roger Federer was supposed to be on court at 2:45 p.m. I'm I already missed that. That was probably 3 a.m. our time. So it's all right, well, I guess I'm going to watch the highlights of that.
Yeah. No, it's so hard to do. That was a good save there, just in terms of saving faith for the Aussie Open.
It's my political answer.
Yeah, no, I like it. No, I hear you though. It is so tough for American viewers to watch it, but if you're a diehard fan, I remember when I was in college, I would wake up at 3:30 a.m. for some of the night sessions, the really big matches. I was just that committed. I don't know if I have that in me anymore, but maybe one, maybe the finals, or I don't know, a later semi. Maybe I can juice it up, but it's tough.
No, I agree with them. That's why I would say I'd put it in the lower rankings just for viewability. It's so hard. The other times for the other three tend to be a lot easier. And it's also it kind of sneaks up on you. We're just into the new year.
Yeah.
A lot of people are kind of doing their other things, work, whatever the case may be. And it's oh, wow, we're right into a slam. It's not and if you think about the other, we'd look at, obviously at Inside Sports, we'd look at a lot of golf. The first major of the four majors doesn't come until a couple months in. And so it gives you some time to get your feet wet a little bit. But this one just throws you in on the deep end, which it's great. I'm excited. I'm really pumped, but it's also you're just start of the new year and here we go.
Right. For sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. You come back from the holidays and it's like, oh, they're already playing Brisbane. Like they're already playing Adelaide. Like, oh, there's like 2 Adelaides. It's like what? So
Yeah.
I agree. Like I was at the gym last week and I'm like, oh wait, they're already playing Adelaide. Like I'm just watching on the TV. Like oh dang,
Mhm.
I'm behind a little bit. But yeah, it just kind of hits you in the mouth. And to your point, it's I don't know that these tournaments are like super indicative of how folks are going to be doing at the Australian Open, right? Because you don't have the full lineup that you do at the Australian. You know, the 250s that are played before. Not every player is going to be there. Not every player is going to be showing their let's just call it preseason performance. And so it's like I feel like Australian Open is one of those where you can kind of see a lot of shakeups, and just first round just destruction.
Absolutely. Yeah. Everyone's
Yeah.
a little bit shaky trying to get back into match form, which is fun. So no, I'm really pumped for it. I think Rishi, you might have told me about this, but the ESPN shakeup. I want to get your guys' thoughts on that. Brad Gilbert's out, Pam Shriver's out. I think they're moving Chris McKendry to a different role. So like the commentators we used to seeing do the whole,
Yeah.
spiel early on are shaked up here. Like what do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's first time in a long time, so it's gonna feel a little bit uncomfortable. Like we've seen a lot of the same, not that I'm a huge Brad Gilbert fan per se. I think it gets a little bit over the top, but I mean, it's just like you're used to hearing the same people like over slams for so many years. It's gonna
Yeah.
be quite different, and at least those folks like they know the sport really well for better or worse and how they do it stylistically. The way
Mhm.
that and McKendry knows the sports well, but I know that they're adding in, and I think really highly, I think it's like Malika Andrews who does like basketball and things like that. And I'm a big
Oh,
fan of
cool.
hers, but I think she's like moving into the tennis space. So while she's not like coming at it like Brad Gilbert from like a coaching angle or coming at it from having played the game a ton, she's going to
Yeah.
come at it more from like a best talent, commentary perspective. So all change is uncomfortable at first. I'm sure it's going to be a good product either way. And honestly, as long as McEnroe and McEnroe are around, we're good. And honestly, as long as I don't have to hear Nick Kyrgios commentate, I'm fine. I'm just like over that whole spiel. He
Oh.
needs to get out of the screen moving forward. He's done being relevant. I'm good on that.
Hot takes.
Nice.
Nice.
That's hard. That's hard.
We're firing with the coffee early.
I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I love it. I feel like there's been a kind of a mixed feedback on Nick. I feel like some people love him as a commentator and he jokes around a lot. He is well spoken, but I could also see it just like his antics and stuff on court kind of just leaves a bad taste in some folks' mouths as well.
I loved him I thought it was fun as a player, like in his prime, and I got it. And I feel like he's trying to do the same thing as like a commentator is not like, it's not the same. It's like,
Mhm.
I think you got to go more down like Eubanks route and be a little bit more professional when you're doing an analysis, especially like around the game, but different flavor for different folks.
Yeah. No, I'm glad you mentioned Eubanks. Like, I think hopefully this kind of leaves some space or creates some room for
Yeah.
the Chris Eubanks commentating or Coco Vandaway and some of like that younger generation too. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe me and you are up there and Lou and
Yeah.
like we're all kind of doing Spin the Racket is hosting a little Aussie Open. But no, I think it does kind of obviously the comfort that we have in terms of seeing like Brad and Pam and stuff, maybe it will be gone, but I'm sure they'll have really good coverage as well.
The Danimal was doing some coverage yesterday.
Oh, cool.
I think it was on like the tennis channel, which was interesting to see like full, like, dress out of tennis gear. Obviously she had some hot takes. I think she said that Ego would be the most susceptible to an upset early round. So not,
Wow.
unfamiliar with, Danimal making some hot takes there.
I'd love to see it. Okay.
So so before we started recording, obviously we already mentioned the 1 point slam. We already started talking about it, and I say, hey guys, let's save this for the pod. Happens pretty often when you don't start recording right away and you start catching up with your guests, and even like just G and I start talking. It's like, dude, this should have been this could have been content or this could have been recorded. So Rishi, tell us about your take on the 1 point slam. I already heard some of your opinion on it, but if you don't mind repeating that.
Yeah. So first off, I think it was a very cool idea. Like, I liked it a lot more than like the mixed doubles US Open thing. I thought I think people took it really seriously, and I think it's very cool because it's just 1 point and anyone can win 1 point. So that's really exciting. Crazy that an amateur won it, like a local amateur. So conspiracy theory, maybe it was planned, maybe it was set up, and the final was like him versus the woman was ranked like 110, 120 in the world. So it was kind of set up where none of the top players in the world got there. And which is awesome. I mean, that's the point of it. It's like you can have a lot of variance because it's 1 point, but it was a little bit too much of a Cinderella ending. And if you noticed it, like every single player, Anisimova, Demon Hour, like all of them were posting about like this 1 point slam. So it feels like tennis kind of pushed this forward a little bit, and that's great to push it forward, but as long as like the result was not planned out. But either way, it was a very cool story, and if it is like all legit, very happy for the guy that won. That's very awesome, like $1 million to go through that tournament. And so, but high level, I think it was a very awesome idea, and I love to see things like that moving forward. And I think for reasons like that, and I think I sent it to you, G, like the practice day this year, the first practice day at the Aussie Open had like 4 or 5 times as many folks, like 30,000 people. And last year it was like 6,000-7,000 people. I think ideas like this, in addition to like, the Sinner, Alcaraz rivalries, are like why the game is moving forward, why you're getting so many eyes. And so I like the level of engagement there. But I have some questions as to how it netted out.
Agreed. I mean, it's a great entertainment product, right? And that's, I think, where for a long time we've seen tennis just not morph and evolve, and golf has done that. And there are some folks that are very opinionated about that, but tennis is changing slowly, but it is. We saw the U.S. Open mixed doubles; that was its own thing. Then, I think it's great to see that the U.S. Open took the initiative. And then, other slams are coming out with their own concepts and ideas and executing on those. It could have been one of those things where, maybe it was planned that, obviously no pro player would win, but then they didn't know who from the amateurs would win, right? So it's still kind of, it would be kind of boring, I would say, if like, a Diminor wins. It's like, well, duh. So adding that level of unpredictability where you tell the pro players like, hey, be part of it, obviously bring your brand, but like you're not gonna win. It's like, all right, fine.
The other level, like taking it a level further, and I was just thinking about it before we actually hopped on here, is that one of the beauties of like tennis is that it's like relative to like football, basketball, it's not exclusively about like, it's not exclusively about like athletic talent. Like anyone can come out there like a Diego Schwartzman. I mean, that might be a little bit more at the extreme end, but like you can come in looking like anything and you can really like compete. And that's kind of what the 1 point contest. It's like, that's what's cool about the amateur. Like any given point, somebody can lose. It's like the Federer quote. He's like, I won like half the points I ever played. Right. But it's like that level of consistency. But I think that's what makes getting people into the game, easier, is that anyone can feel like, hey, I can rise to a high level, if I just play consistently. It makes the game a lot more approachable relative to some of the other sports, which I think that's another thing that increases engagement over time, which ultimately, like for us that love this game, like that's what we want.
Yeah,
that's true. Very approachable. Like, I mean, we're the recreational tennis pod, so this is this has to be from a recreational tennis perspective. Like in theory, anyone that we played with could walk on court, grab a racket. They could be wearing like running shoes and then still play, right? It reminds me of this guy. It's called the Tennis Mentor. I follow him on Instagram and YouTube, and he just he did a bit of a challenge against Andy Murray, and had him like he was trying to ace Andy Murray, and he did. He ended up doing it. He ended up acing him, I think, T. But the caveat was Andy Murray was wearing running shoes, like the stacked, cushy running shoes. And I'm like, dang, like he's obviously like the guy gives a big disclaimer at the end, like, hey, had he not been wearing freaking running shoes, he would have returned that serve. He also, Andy's like, you should ace me. I have like 2 metal hips, so if you don't, you suck, which is great, Andy Murray right there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you guys. I think the more that we have these types of events, especially being of a slam to kind of draw attention, draw eyes, some headlines, I think the better for the sport overall. So I think to Rishi's point, maybe someone, the organizers probably said, hey, like make sure that someone who's not a pro wins this, but I think that's fine. I think it is kind of cool. Hopefully people, like I said, kind of tune in more and believe that, hey, I can win in a big tournament or something like that one day.
Not to further rag on Nick Kyrgios, but that's where my conspiracy theory comes from. Like he missed the point going for a winner right off the inbound, and then he shatters his racket like kind of fake, kind of not. I don't know. Just seemed a little staged and more Kyrgios going over the top, but we spent too much time on him.
Yeah. Fair enough.
You want to give him more airtime?
Yeah, no, he's on the singles draw. We're good on this.
I love it. Well, let's shift to the draws here. I know we have some pretty spicy sections that we can kind of go through here. We'll spend some time first talking about the women's draw. I think at a high level, would love to hear thoughts on how the draw looks overall. Like who do we have eyes on? Like what we think about some of the players going in to the season here. So maybe let's take it there. Like what do you think? I know we talked about first slam of the year. It's always interesting to kind of see where people's levels are, but how do we feel about the lineup so far?
I think the bracket looks awesome. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And as we think about like last year in women's game, it's so high variance. I think we had 4 different women's slam winners last year, which is awesome. Yeah. So while Sabalenka has like probably looked the best, I would say most consistent, it really is like, I think like 5, maybe even 10 players can win this tournament this year. So looks great, from that standpoint, going into the year. I think Sabalenka remains the favorite going into the Aussie Open, but again, Coco, Rybakina, Anisimova, who came out after a crazy 2025. I think it's just a really exciting time for the game, especially on the American side. I think and Anisimova really pushing it from that side, but like Madison Keys after her first slam win, it's just a really exciting time. And especially when there's so little variance in the men's side, I think the women's side provides something a little bit different. Like the men's side, you have that top level high rivalry. Here you have really anyone can win in the bracket.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. It's so funny to think about some of the big highlights from last year. I mean, obviously Madison Keys winning her first slam is pretty incredible, and then you have Coco, another American, winning kind of like the French Open, and like you said, like Iga, something. So it's just kind of crazy that you have so many different winners in the women's game right now. It does seem super competitive, but also you look on paper too, you look at Sabalenka's record and you're like, wait, she's won 34 of the last like 36 matches or something crazy like that. It's just like, she's on a tear.
It's entertaining. I'll say that. It's women's tennis right now. It's very volatile, and obviously it makes for a very good experience. Kind of edge of your seat, watch that match. You don't know what's going to happen type stuff. Where I agree with Rishi, like, on the men's side, these 2 dudes, Synchras, are like a step above. So if I were to go to like a betting site, the odds would be pretty stacked in favor of these guys versus like in the women's side, it's kind of free for all. A lot of Americans though, so it's great to see that. There's definitely a show in force here, but I think, like you guys are saying, I can't disagree. Like Arena is, something about the Maldives, right? Going to the Maldives and going on vacation there just gets you pumped up. So I don't know what's happening.
Must be. Yeah, let's get into it. Let's see the draws here. We have kind of quarter by quarter. We can start at the top. Of course, we already spoke about Sabalenka. This is her quarter. She looks super happy in that picture. Former slam winner here. So we have the top part of the draw here. You got Sabalenka. what matches look good to you guys? What's kind of standing out from this quarter?
So sorry. So as far as the quarter goes, I mean, obviously Sabalenka easily the favorite to win here, but I do think there's a couple of interesting players. There's not a ton of like first round matchups that I love a ton, but there's a ton of potential like second and third round matchups. Raducanu in here, Paolini in here, Marta Kostyuk in here, Vicky Mboko in here. I think there's a number of players that are like rising players that could be really exciting. Alexandrova, who's beaten Sabalenka before. So I think there's a couple players that can make it really interesting. I do want to keep an eye on Kostyuk, who, last, I think was in Brisbane, she made it to the finals and played Sabalenka, lost in 2 sets, but she pulled a number of upsets last week. She beat 3 top 10 players. She is rising very, very quickly, and she's still quite young. So I think this is going to be more an interesting time to start tracking her a bit. I think 2026 is going to be a big year. But yeah, I think there's a number of players in this quarter who are, risers and just be interesting to watch. Claire Towson can fall in that category as well.
Absolutely. Who do you have your eyes on, Lou?
I think, kind of the same. I would say Paolini. I want to see what Paolini can do in this tournament. I'm a big fan of hers. She's just so loose. So I'm excited to see what she can do. And then, like Rishi said, Kostyuk as well. Just on a streak right now. So, she's got potential to be able to take the quarterfinal against Sabalenka.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a few interesting first rounds here. Obviously, Mboko, love watching her play. She was playing really well.
Just upset Madison Keys.
Yeah. I mean, she's someone definitely a dark horse to watch in this area here. If someone's gonna upset Sabalenka, I could see her doing a little bit of damage. Also, it's interesting that first round with Haddad Maia and Putintseva. Like Putintseva is a firecracker. Like that's gonna be a battle for sure. And then I was laughing to myself about Kostyuk. I was remembering when Rishi and I went to the U.S. Open and hit a ball.
That was an amazing video you got.
Yeah, I'll have to pull that out for the overlay here. But yeah, we almost got taken out by a ball from Kostyuk. So now I'm a fan of hers.
Yeah, before 2 weeks ago, Kostyuk going into Brisbane, she was 101 at the Australian Open. Now coming out of that tournament after those upsets, she's now like 25-1 here. So she's on like a meteoric rise. And the hot take is, I don't think Sabalenka comes out of this quarter. I think somebody pulls an upset. I don't know who it is, to be honest with you, but to Lou's point, Paolini's like, if she's like raised her game over the break, Vicky Mboko, to your point, like rising very quickly. Alexandrova has beat her before. Kostyuk, as we mentioned. I think there's a number of names that could win in like any single match. And so I think it'll be interesting to see if Sabalenka has any trouble here.
I like it. She coming with the big reveal.
No, it's
there.
true. It's true. As long as there's like the contenders that we have mentioned don't go through like an early first round upset, then she's gonna have to plow through some challenges to get out of this quarter.
Pushed her too.
Yeah. So what do you think, Lou? Who's winning this quarter?
I'm gonna put my money on Paolini. How about that?
Nice. Yeah, it's tough. Again, Sabalenka, she's playing incredibly. I do think she's gonna have some tough battles.
Yep.
But I'm gonna play it safe here, and I'm gonna say she gets out of this quarter here.
I think I'm gonna have to take Marta Kostyuk and just go longer shot here. I just think it's trending in her game. Obviously wouldn't be surprised if Sabalenka did it, but let's make it a little bit spicy.
Yeah.
Can we do like one of those like fantasy like penalties or whatever? Like I've been watching a lot of social media, like what happens with the fantasy football, like if you lose them or whatever.
I love it.
How about we put something on this?
Yeah,
we'll do points.
Points. Okay. All right. So we've got our first prediction for first quarter. You want me to move to the next one?
Let's do it.
Yeah. So for the second quarter here, we've got Coco Gauff It's going to be hard to pick anyone but Coco. But, this is also, it's Australian Open. So we've got a lot of players here that, could give her a run for her money. What do we think, guys?
Yeah, this one has a lot of fun first round matchups too.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, my eyes on Venus Williams, 45 years old, still playing Grand Slams. Like, regardless of how she does, like, it's just such an incredible feat that she's there and competitive. So that'll be fun to watch. Obviously, I'll be pulling for Venus, but we'll see what happens there. I'm looking at Haley Baptiste too. She was playing really well last year, and Vondrosa is not an easy first round pick there, but that'll be a battle, I think. So watching her, and yeah, a lot of Americans in this section, which is cool to see, but some good ones there. What do you see, Rish?
Yeah, no, I think this is a really interesting quarter. Coco with obvious favorite here, but I think there's a lot of vet players that are really interesting. That Donna Vekic, Andreeva first round. Vekic had a lagging 2025 after a really solid 2024. It'll be interesting to see how she bounces back this year. And there's some upset potential there in that first round match. And if Andreeva gets knocked out, then it's really like Coco's to take. Svitolina, had another good year. It'll be interesting to see if she can go to the next level. Krejcikova had another good, solid year coming back from injury, so it's another one of those vet players. And then Mukova has played well like the last 2 weeks. She's coming back from injury last year, so it'll be interesting to see what she can do in this tournament. I would say she feels like kind of the biggest threat to Coco, at least on that side of the quarter. But like you said, there's a number of first-round matchups that are really interesting. Curious to see how like an Emma Navarro looks after a lagging 2025 year and a huge 2024. So there's a couple of redemption stories here.
For sure. I know it's funny that there's quite a few of your favorites or people that you that you like in here. It's Svitolina and Beckett, you have Navarro. Like, who do you see maybe pulling out of this quarter?
I really do think it's like Coco's to lose if her serve's on. And I can't imagine that, after the US Open and such, like she hasn't taken the time to focus exclusively there, especially with the coach she had hired, to work around exclusively on the serve. It's obvious to say, but yeah, I would say Coco's probably my winner here, with Svitolina being a little bit of the dark horse to see if she can, pull out of the quarter, but I'd lean Coco.
I like it. Obviously, pulling at my heartstrings. I'm a big Coco fan. I definitely would love to see her battle it out against Sabalenka in that semifinal. So I'm gonna stick with Coco too here. So I'm just playing the favorites right now, but don't worry, I got something spicy coming up for you guys later.
Lou,
I'm gonna
who's the
go with
prediction?
Andreeva. How about that?
There we
I'll go
go.
with Andreeva. Yeah, I mean, my default setting is to go with Coco, but I want to. Yeah, I think there's no fun if we all think Coco's gonna win, and if I had to put my money on somebody else, I think Andreeva has the mettle to be able to bring it as long as she doesn't get frustrated. Seen a lot of
Gerard,
frustration.
I was going to ask you, if Coco was to, get upset by Venus Williams in this hypothetical world, who do you think is the next name that you'd pick? Because it's just so, after that, it's so wide open.
It honestly is. That's a tough question. I mean, I'm looking at, obviously Svitolina is doing well. I think she played really solid last year. I'd be curious to see if Mukova is like fully healthy and ready from that standpoint. I would lean Svitolina, actually. Just of that group there in her area. I feel like, the Andreevas, Sakaris, like someone could get knocked out there pretty early. I could see Svitolina coming through that.
Yep. She won last week.
Yeah. Looking solid. Alrighty. We got these picks here for second quarter. All right. Third quarter, we have Amanda Anisimova's quarter, which is also, again, amazing that she's the fourth seed here. Like, what a comeback after last year getting double bageled by Iga in the in Wimbledon.
So
finals,
impressive.
Yeah. So this is a pretty spicy section here. You got Jessica Pegula, JPEG, what I call her, 6th seed at the top over there. You have some other big names. Badosa historically has played well. She's seeded here this year. You got Madison Keys, defending champion, of course, lurking down that way. Let's see, Ostapinko, always a lot going on with her, good or bad. You got Sophia Kinnan, also a former Australian Open champion there. So a lot of names here on this one. Who
A
do you
lot of
guys
Americans.
for these first rounds?
A lot of Americans. Yeah.
Yeah. That first round, Peyton Stearns and Sophia Kennan, that'll be pretty spicy and some big hitting. I think that'll be really, really fun. As far as, who I think could take it, gosh, this is kind of like the best Americans in this spot. And
it sucks when this happens, dude.
Yeah, I know. This is tearing at my heartstrings.
Yeah.
Just based on trending, and I think Pegula's been playing amazingly well, so it's hard to kind of rule her out here. But I think it's Anisimova is just at the top of her game. And if you look at like that half of the quarter, I just don't think she's going to get pushed until she has to play what feels like it'll be a Pegula or Madison Keys. And I'd take Anisimova over one of them right now. So she'd be my pick here in this quarter. The dark horse, I would say, is Leylah Fernandez. Played really well last year. She made that U.S. Open final a couple of years ago against Raducanu and then kind of lagged. And then last year she had some really high spots. I think she won in DC, which is a pretty big event. So I think she'll be an interesting one to keep an eye on. But ultimately, Anisimova comes out.
Nice. Yeah, and on this, I'm realizing we don't have the qualifiers showing, but on that left side, Karolina Pliskova is playing Sloane Stephens. In the first round.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
So you got battle of two former Grand Slam champions. Kind of going up at it. Or I guess Carolina didn't win a Grand Slam, but the Grand Slam finalist, former Grand Slam champion, and Sloane Stephens. But what do you think about that first round?
Oof. A lot more exciting first rounds here in this quarter. I would like to see what, for me, out of curiosity, just what Zhang does. She can bring it at some point, but I feel like obviously not seeded here, not doing super well. But you never know with a tournament like this, where how people are coming in form from the off season. My pick from here is going to be Anisimova as well. I've become a big fan of hers. I think second half of 2025, just seeing the turn, like the way she's turning around and doing things, it's pretty inspiring. So I'll have to agree with Rishi on this one.
Interesting. So no one's picking the defending champion out of this area. I can see Jessica Pegula coming through this one here. I think she's super solid. I think she has been playing these big matches and big slams pretty well. Apart from kind of an early upset I think she had last year, but yeah, I feel like in terms of this area, like her section's not super dangerous, quote unquote. But so I think maybe going up against Maddie in the quarters could be obviously the biggest test for her. But I think she can go out of this one.
So Pegula would have to take down Badosa, potentially Fernandez, and then potentially Madison Keys. I mean, it's no easy feat, but she could definitely do it. So you're saying it's going to be Pegula and Anisimova for the quarterfinal?
Yeah,
and then Pegula will take it. All right,
that's fun. And then there's, like as we said, so many other American players: Kessler, Kruger. Like this is an all-American quarter.
Yeah, it sucks when it's like that, just because like there can only there can only be one.
Yeah,
that comes out of here. So it just feels like it's like the process of elimination of the Americans in this quarter.
That's right.
All right, so we have our bets placed on this quarter. We're gonna have to like post this on social media just as soon as like somebody either wins or loses, and then just kind of remind us of like whether we picked the right thing or the right player or the wrong player.
Exactly.
Got to think about that. The content strat.
You can post like a bracket of like both sides and just say like, or post like 3 brackets and just say like who we think's gonna win. If you think it's like, it's kind of like when they do March Madness, for the basketball. So
I like that. Yeah, maybe we fill it out on our own.
Yeah, with Rishi, I need you to send me a photo of you, and then we're gonna do little cutouts of our
I love
faces.
it. Yeah,
We're just gonna place the cutouts on this.
I love it. Yeah.
We'll figure this out. But yeah, I think we ought to do a kind of like a what do you call it? Just like a visual chart of who we picked and whatnot.
Yeah.
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 That'll
Happy to do.
hold us accountable to do better next. And then we've got the fourth quarter in the draw with Iga obviously sitting front and center. But again, you've got Naomi Osaka here. You've got Rybakina. Who else am I seeing here? A lot of qualifiers here. So people that we don't know are going to play. What do you guys think?
I think this is like your craziest quarter. A lot of things can go a lot of different ways. Like,
Yeah.
you wouldn't be surprised if Rybakina, Osaka, Iga, even like Belinda Bencic had an unbelievable week last week at United Cup. And, she's 1 year out of maternity, essentially, which is also all that impressive and inspiring that way. So
Yeah.
I think my pick here would be Rybakina. I think she just has such a high ceiling because that serve, honestly, it's unbelievable. The dark horse I want to keep an eye on, who I've been a fan of for some time, but meteoric rise last year, Eva Leis. I think she's really, really interesting. It's a tough first round out with Circea, who's this is her retiring year, so last Aussie Open. But I think it could be fun setting up an Eva Leis and Naomi Osaka second round matchup potentially.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, there's definitely a few good ones. I think that Bencic Bolter match will be a really interesting one. I could see that being on a big stadium, big stage match there. I think Bencic has been playing really well. To your point, Rish, like I could see her causing some trouble here and in this section. Mertens, I think, is a solid play, and so her going up against Bencic later on in the tournament will be fun to watch. Like you said, Rybakina obviously playing really well. You have Iga, can never discount her. Like so many so many big players here. I love seeing Naomi, of course, as a seeded player, and I think she has a little interesting section. Obviously, to your point, to play maybe Lice in that third round would be a big test. But I think if she can get through that, I could see Naomi coming out of this quarter.
All right. Mic drop. Dan, you took it from me because I was going to say Naomi as well, but I'll go with Rybakina. Let's go with a popular pick. Which is funny because a couple years ago, I feel like it would have been Iga. Right?
Yeah, that's right. I will say that Iga's setting up against Kalinskaya. Kalinskaya was up like a set in a couple games. Then Iga made the comeback on like an epic collapse towards the back end of last year. I think that Kalinskaya can, if she can get through these, what I would perceive to be easier first, second round, potentially winnable matchup, she would set up for a clash where she can pull that upset on Iga. So it's more how I'm looking at Rybakina. I think has an easier path to getting towards the end of this quarter and kind of getting out of it versus some of the other matchups like Naomi and Iga. I think they're going to definitely get tested here.
Yeah, I love it. All right, so zooming out, we have our picks for each quarter. Name your semifinal matchups and who's winning those and who's winning the Aussie Open.
So on the first one was the Sabalenka one, right? So who did that? That was the Kostyuk. Oh yeah. So I think on the left side, I think Coco Gauff will beat Kostyuk, come into the final. And on the other side, I think Anisimova is going to beat Rybakina. And so I think you have an Anisimova Coco Gauff final. And I think,
wow.
Oh man, I need to think about it. So I'll let you guys get to the semis. I don't know who I think would win that.
Okay, all right. We got Coco and Anisimova final. All right, Rish, that's pretty good bold picks. Lu, what do you have?
Well, I picked Paolini to come out of this one, and I'm pretty sure I picked Andreeva to come out of this one. So let's just say Andreeva wins that one, and Anisimova is going to win this other half right here. So it would be an Andreeva Anisimova taking the slam on my side.
Wow. That's a winner
No,
for slam.
that came out pretty easy, right?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, so I had Sabalenka going up against Coco in the semis. Bottom half, Pagula going up against Osaka. I'm trying to decide if I go with my heart or if I lean on the data side.
You can do one heart, one data.
Exactly.
We know what the both heart would say.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna say Coco. Oh, now when I say it out loud, I'm like Coco versus like, ooh, this is tough. All right, I'm gonna say Coco goes up against Pagula in the final, with Coco winning the Aussie Open.
I think that's what it looked like when we picked the U.S. Open too. It was similar, or at least that's what I think I had done too. I thought I had Pagula to win the U.S. Open. Yeah, now as I think about it, stepping back, Anisimova, Coco. Since you have Coco winner, I'm going to go with Anisimova to win her first slam. I think it's time. I think all the steps have been trending there, and I think it's a lot of what you kind of see in the Madison Keys last year going into the Australian Open. It's like all of the trends were there. It's like she's just ready to take that next step.
Yeah.
I think Anisimova has shown that, especially from the redemption after that Iga match, that, you know, she's ready to take the big swing. And I think that her punches on these sort of courts go a really, really long way. So can't wait.
I know. All right. Well, we got some fun matches to watch here on the women's side. We'll keep that going.
Can't wait to be right.
It's awesome because it's not as simple as, hey, it's just Jannik Sinner winning the tournament. You know, it's like, all right, we're good on the men's side.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, I mean, we're all placing bets here. Geez. So transitioning to the men's, this is still exciting, dude. There's a lot of players here that can make a break. You've got Bublik now in the top 10. Yeah,
just one
starting
Hong
the
Kong.
year breaking. Yeah, exactly. Starting the year winning Hong Kong, gets his another 250 under the bag, and then all of a sudden breaks into the top 10 before the Australian Open. What do we think about
really fun.
This quarter? Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I think I'll start by saying that I think Carlos Alcaraz is a way harder route to getting to the final than Jannik Sinner. Sinner's is much more seamless. Like, this quarter is really challenging. And then you parlay that with Carlito, you know, moving on, firing, you know, his coach for basically across his career, which I do think is going to have some lingering effects, which has kind of led to a greater point, which I'll talk about when we get to Jannik Sinner. But I think the calendar Grand Slam is live for the first time in like 40, 50 years because of this move on coaching. But no, this quarter is really, really fun. It's a lot of my favorite players on the men's side. Like De Minaur, Berrettini is going to be fireworks. De Minaur kind of looks like he's on steroids, but he's so big now. But no, I like to see the power that he's added to his game. One of my favorite up-and-coming players is Cavalli. I think he takes a big, big step this year. I love the power hitting. If you set up for a Cavalli potential Bublik match later on in a couple of rounds, I think that's really interesting. But ultimately, it's just hard to go against Carlito in this quarter. I will say, though, that I am bullish at with De Minaur in his home territory. So I hope we do get to see a Carlito De Minaur match towards the end of this quarter.
Yeah, no, this quarter is also filled with American players too. A number of the qualifiers that are up there at the top, like against Hoffman. You got Svita is playing, and then you like Michael Zhang, who's played at Columbia, who's also playing against Korda. So like a lot of American players have been kind of sprinkled throughout this. And yeah, to your point, Rishi, this is a really tough section. I see like Tommy Paul in there. You got Demon. You have Big Foe, Bublik. It's just a lot of unpredictable players who get hot in the slams and come through, and maybe they have a good night and they give Carlos an upset. So I could totally see something like that happening here. I'm definitely I'm considering, do I wake up for the Demon Berrettini night match? I'm trying to decide if that's in my card, but that's obviously going to be absolute fireworks. You see Caboli, I like him, watching him too. Big foe, always bringing some fire fits from Lulu. I got to support my guy. Watch some of that. I don't even know who comes out of this section, honestly. I mean, on paper, it makes sense to say Carlos, obviously. All right, I'm gonna stick to data. I'm gonna go Carlos comes out of this quarter here, but it's not gonna be easy.
I personally think that Carlos has an easier path than Yannick. So it just depends, dude. Like, you've got a lot of guys here that could take the fight to him, but then the problem is, like, they haven't proven much recently. You've got a Kekmanovic who has given Alcaraz some trouble. You got a Sebastian Korda that I'm a big fan of, but he's just not doing well. I think Carlos is going to have an easy time getting through like that section, and then Mutet as well. But then you've got Tommy Paul and Davidovich Fokina as well. Davidovich Fokina is just steadily rising, in my opinion, just making, he's obviously not on a rocket ship, but I think he's taking the right steps forward. I got to see Davidovich Fokina in Opelka live at the Atlanta Open, and that was fireworks too. I love that match. It was such a different, like, battle of players. But Tommy Paul, if he's on, he can take Alcaraz, and that's the thing that gives you a little bit of a X factor right there. And then I think Bubelik's going to be tested in the first round with Brooksby. So Bubelik's going to start off kind of tough there, and then Caboli is going to probably go against Kekmanovic. That's going to be another second round test. But from you can't obviously discount the hometown favorite, right? With Diminor. So, but if I had to put my money on this, I'll say Alcaraz. I'm a huge fan, and I think if I'll put this in like quotes, or what is it, asterisks, like, as long as Alcaraz performance is not affected by Ferrer's departure, which is a big if, then he should come out of here unscathed.
I think we're all in agreement. The one other player that I didn't want us to forget, Mihailovic, is so fun, and he could set up for a second round against Demonauer, which would be fireworks. Another player to keep an eye on this year.
Oh yeah, he cracks the ball. He is
that match would, like, they'd need to do balls after every point.
Yeah, honestly, I love it. All right, second quarter here.
Let's see.
All right, we got Sasha Zverev's quarter, the big German. Man, it's crazy. Sasha's been around for so long. Gosh, we want to see him win a slam. I don't know, but yeah, he's definitely a staple. But yeah, his section is pretty interesting here too. You got some up and comers, and like a Lerner Tien down there who's playing really well, really good tennis. I see Rublev, of course, big hitter, a lot of energy, a lot of passion. My guy, FAA, amazing year last year at the end, especially winning a lot of those indoor tournaments. Did really well at the U.S. Open. Fingers crossed that this is his year. He's going to really push through in the slams. Who do you guys see? Who do you guys like in this area?
This is a fun one. Like, it's fun because you don't have any of Carlos or Yannick, so it feels like anything can happen a little bit. And I don't think anybody's scared of Zverev, honestly. It's like that first round match, Diallo took a bad upset last week, Diallo, but I think he can obviously win this match. I think that'll be really, really fun. Medvedev, obviously, he fired his full coaching staff. He has a really nice start to 2026 here. And obviously, he's had good history at the Australian Open. So it'll be interesting to see what he does. And then to your point, Gerard, FAA, Felix Auger-Aliassime had an amazing last 6 months. And so, yeah, excited to see kind of how a lot of players look to start the year here. My winner to come out of the quarter, I think FAA has the monkey off his back. I think he's ready to take that next step. We've been wanting it for a long, long time. And I think, I don't know, maybe the personal, he just got married. Maybe like all of these things are happening at the right time. But he's one of those players that has a ceiling. Then I'd say this like with a little bit of reservation, but he has like a Sinner Carlito ceiling that like nobody else really has relative to a lot of these like mid-tier players. Like I don't think Zverev can play with a Carlito or play with a Sinner. It's like you almost know it's always going to be 3-0, 4-1. Felix, if he has his day, and he's going to have to get through a really tough first round with Borges, but if he has his day, he can really play with anybody. So I like Felix to come out of here.
Man, I'm trying not. You got me cheesing over here. That's
Are you crying?
Could not agree. I about to get all the airtime on this.
Did you already say FAA for your pick?
I did it. No, but I mean,
He's about
to. Okay. I mean, we already know, dude. Like
you go first, Lou, and then
you go first.
I'll wrap it up. I need a minute.
Get some tissues. It's like, this feels like the next gen from a few years ago reunion. You've got Zverev, you've got Nori, you've got Cerundolo, Rublev, Medvedev, Garon. Like you've got FA as well. Like it's just kind of like Rishi said, like who's gonna come out of here? Like it could be literally anyone. You got a Diallo, you've got Arnaldi. Like these guys can hit. They can win. It's a little bit volatile in this side. I would love to see a Lerner Tan play FAA in that section of the draw. It also sucks that you've got both Cerundolos like in the same quarter. So it's like if one were to have a solid run, it would have to delete the other one. But I would say I think Cerundolo is going to play Rublev. Zverev is definitely going to play. That's tough. He's going to be tested with Popyrin because Popyrin can like raise his level, especially when he's like home turf. So that's going to be an interesting one, second round. But it's probably going to be the classic like Zverev, Nori, Cerundolo, Rublev, and then Medvedev is coming out of that one. It'll be interesting to see Medvedev play Tabilo. And I would love to see a Lerner Tien in FAA. But if I had to pick one player to come out of this, it's not. I would love to say Rublev, but it's not going to be Rublev. He's got to switch up his game if he wants to like win in this court. Let me just go with a. Dude, I'll go with Lerner Tien. How about that?
Oh man, that is spicy.
I'm placing my bets on the new kid on the block.
Yeah, that's bold. That's a big pick there. Okay,
I'm drawing lines here because G's like, wait, he has to take out FAA.
Yeah. I'm like, whew.
I think this is starting war.
Yeah, he's a talent, but yeah, it's a big ask. The best 3 out of 5. We'll see. I'm with Rishi. I think Felix, this is his year. This is definitely a year he's going to push in the slams. Zverev, I'm going to call the Diallo upset first round.
Let's go.
I mean, the big serving Canadian, I think he's a super sharp guy. Like, he'll give Zverev a lot of trouble. I think he can do it. I think he can pull the upset there. So, I mean, I'm definitely keeping my eye on Cerundolo, Francisco. The big forehand, the big game. That'll be a fun matchup in that first round against Zhang. But yeah, I think Felix has this. This is his time.
All right, we've concurred that it's probably going to be Felix, but placing a bet on Tien. Let's go.
No, don't backtrack now. It's okay.
No, I'm not backtracking.
All right, third quarter.
Yes, sir.
The GOAT's quarter. Of course, everyone has their own GOAT, but Novak Djokovic's quarter here, which it's also kind of crazy that he's still playing and playing extremely well for his age. But a lot of big names here too. You have Musetti, you see Minchik up there in the draw. My boy Brandon Nakashima is here as well. You got Taylor Fritz, you got Lehechka, you got Tsitsipas. I mean, if he's back to the old Tsitsipas, who knows? But yeah, a lot of fun names. Obviously, Stan Wawrinka playing in his last year at the Aussie Open. Yeah, have fun with this one, boys. Like, who do you see?
so wide
Oof.
open again. And yeah, no, I'm happy to see Stan the Man get that wild card in, his last year. But yeah, to your point, there's a lot of interesting players. Hubie had a great week last week coming back from injury. I think it'll be important to see how he goes match to match and by best of 5 sets, like keeping that health up. But I think certainly he has the ceiling to do really, really well here. Obviously Menchik, our boy, we watched him win in Miami. That was amazing. And Taylor Fritz, I'm curious to see if he's healthy. I think last week he had withdrawn or, had to pull out of a match early. So kind of curious to see, where his health is at. I think this is a year where Musetti takes that next step. And it's, top seed in this quarter, second seed, I guess, wouldn't be in this quarter behind the GOAT. But I really do like Musetti to take that step and come out of this quarter. I think it's very winnable where he is, unless Tsitsipas shows any of his historical game. And I think he comes out to a Musetti-Hubie match. I think the Joker gets upset a little bit early. I'm just not really confident in what I'm seeing right now. And I think this might, or I don't think it's a hot take to really say it's probably his last year. It just doesn't look like, the best of 5 sets are doing well with his body right now.
Yeah. No, that's fair. That's fair. Lou, what are you feeling?
It's a long battle to the quarterfinals. So yeah, I agree with Rishi. I would like to see a Djokovic make it to the quarters, but it's looking, more and more uphill as the time goes by. I don't know, man. This is another one where anything could happen, dude. Like, you've got a lot of slingers here. I would love to see a Fritz make it. I think it's about time he also steps it up. And, he's just been, I would say, second half of 2025, just really stepping it up a little bit more, trying to up his game, being a lot more aggressive with the forehand, which, it's definitely, favoring him. But I think Mazzetti's going to have, a good test of in the first round with this. It's a new kid, right, Collignon, that just kind of made headlines over the past few weeks. So that's going to be an interesting one. You've got Dimitrov and Mashak as well. So that's going to be another good. There's a lot of good matchups here, dude. Like, I'd love to see I don't know if Mahaj or Dimitrov, who's going to come out of that, and they're going to play Tsitsipas probably. You can't discount. Let me see. Gosh, you still got Stan the Man with it. Jer is it's an interesting one. Sometimes he brings it, and he's taking Djokovic, giving Djokovic a run for his money. But then on the right side, you've got Mensek, you've got Grigspor, Hurkacz. Like, dude, it's. Yeah, it's very competitive. Brandon Nakashima, who is finally exploiting his potential, feels like. And if I had to pick, I would say I'm going to go for Fritz. I'll say Fritz.
Nice.
As long as he's healthy.
Also got to shout out some of the qualifiers there. College tennis obviously is a big deal here in the States. You have Rafa Hodar is playing. He qualified. He's the former UVA Cavalier. He played with James Hopper at UVA.
Right.
Shout out to James Hopper, friend of the pod. And then you got obviously Brandon Nakashima, also former Cavalier. Ethan Quinn, go Dogs. So kind of cool to see some of that college tennis translate again to the pros here. So yeah, I mean, this section, to your point, wide open. You got some former legends. You got some new folks coming up. I'm going with Menchik. I think he's been playing super solid. That serve is out of this world good. I think he can definitely cause some trouble up there. Maybe go up against Joker, pull that win off, and come through this quarter.
Nice. I like this. We didn't agree on any of them.
Yeah, 3 different picks. I love it.
Yeah, 3 different picks. Sweet. All
Because
right,
we're all going to have the same one on the next one. Maybe.
Bro.
Maybe.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Maybe. I don't know. Gerard might go the other way.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You might go with a spicy take.
Oh, I love this. Is going to be a fun one now.
This is a good quarter, too. I mean, you've got B. Shelton, dude. Benny Ben. You've got Vachereau, who's last year, I don't think I even knew about the guy. in the Australian Open. I don't even know where he was in the Australian Open. You've got a Shapovalov, who I'm a huge fan of, but Cilic, like, dude, it's Munar. You've got Bellucci, Rude, Kachanov. Like, Kachanov's going to have an interesting time first round with Mickelson. So that's going to be a good one. And then you have Joao Fonseca. So a lot of new and old blood here mixed up. But then obviously, you've got Yannick Sinner front and center. So tell me more about it, boys.
I mean, I think you have the best hard court player in the last 3 years, in this quarter, which is pretty obvious. But you also have some interesting vets, as you brought up, like Cilic, Monterino, Monfils' last Aussie Open. I love the guy. I can't wait to watch him play. I hope he at least can go for, I would love to see a Monfils-Shelton matchup. But that is a challenging first rounder for Shelton with Humbert. He's a solid player.
That's right.
So it's going to be interesting. Yeah, Fonseca Spizzirri, I will say there's a little bit of upset potential there. My co-founder at ISN, his cousin is Spizzirri, so University of Texas alum. We're going to be rooting for Spizzirri pretty big, but maybe a tall task. Hopefully we ultimately get to see Sinner, if Spizzirri can't get there, in a Joao Fonseca match. That'll be fun. Like you, Lou, I'm a big Shapovalov fan of the talent, and I've been waiting for him to do what FAA did, in the back end of last year, but it doesn't seem like it's fully coming. But all long-winded to say, I think Yannick Sinner comes out of this quarter. It's too hard to go against it. It should set up for a Sinner-Shelton matchup, which I think will be fireworks. But ultimately, I just think Sinner on hard court is just too unbelievably good. And it'd be great to see if he got upset, even by a Shelton. But I think Shelton's still maybe like a half a step away, but would love to be proven wrong.
Yeah, there are some really, really good first round matchups. I mean, Shelton going up against Humbert in the first round will be fun to watch. Always love to watch Monfils. You got Mickelson, Khachanov.
That's fun.
That's gonna be big bang tennis all around there. Obviously, I'm definitely a big fan of some of the American players. To your point, Spiz going up against Fonseca. Fonseca hasn't been 100% healthy, so that could be something to keep an eye on. Like, maybe he can get a little lucky if he's not really ready to go and pull an upset there. Besavaretti is playing O'Connell in that first round too, so he's also kind of that next gen player, someone fun to watch. I agree with you. I think Shelton Sinner in the quarters will ultimately be the matchup. My heart obviously wants to pull for Big Ben. I do think, looking at some of the recent matchups that they've played against each other, he just hasn't been close to clipping Sinner. Like, I think he has to switch up something in his game when he goes up against him if he wants to get that win. So I'm going to say, with regret, Sinner comes out of this quarter.
Yeah, sorry for your boy Rishi, but I would love to see a Fonseca Sinner match.
No,
I would love
certainly
I would love to see that happen. Like
Clash.
Khachanov and Mickelson, Fonseca Sinner. I'd love to see a Shapovalov and like a Mattia Bellucci or something like that. I think Bellucci's lefty, right?
Mm-hmm.
If I'm not wrong. Yeah, dude, it'd be sick. And then I mean, just to see like I don't know, Monfils with Shelton and Vachereau with Shelton would be fantastic. All that to say that I think Yannick Sinner is going to come on top on this one.
We're in agreement.
So we're on to the semis. Oh,
yeah,
man.
yeah. Let's line
You'll
them
like
up
this
here.
one, Gerard. I think we get a Felix over Carlito in the semi
Gosh.
to play Yannick Sinner, who comes out over Musetti. We get a FAA Yannick Sinner final, and I think Yannick wins, but I think he gets a little bit pushed, and I think this is a big step in FAA's career, getting to the finals of a slam.
I love that. You've been reading my notes, Rishi. I don't know how, but somehow you've seen the play. Yeah, I think obviously I have Alcaraz going up against FAA. I do like that idea of FAA pulling out to at least make to the final. And then I have Minchik going up against Sinner in that semifinal. I think it would be a good for Minchik to get to the semis, but I think Sinner is he's just too hot right now. So similar to you, Rishi, I have the same thing. A little different path of getting there, but yeah, Sinner in the winning the Australian Open this year.
3 in a row, I think.
Yeah. Lou?
He's gonna play
yeah,
Learn RT in here.
What is that, Rishi?
yeah, no.
Learn
No,
RT
well,
in.
no, all right, dude. Like, let me see. So I had Carlos going up again against Lerner Tien. Carlos would win that one, and then it was Fritz versus Sinner. I think Fritz could bring a good push, but obviously get wiped out by Sinner, and then it would be a neoclassical Carlos Alcaraz versus Yannick Sinner. I would favor Sinner at this moment.
Okay. All
So
right.
we all
got
said Sinner.
Three boys winning Sinner. The 3P here going up 2026 champ.
I mean, yeah, dude, this was a lot less difficult than the women's draw.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, I mean, Rishi had to take a break to think about this for the women's, and then here we are like, yeah, y'all that to say, well, Sinner. So
Yeah, we kind of know who the 2 or 3 that typically are ending up in the finals here. So no, it's exciting. So look, hey, we have it solved. We're going to put our picks on paper, so we have it locked in. We can't change it, but it's going to be fun to track it the next couple of weeks here.
Can't wait. And it's interesting, we're talking, none of us even really had a pause for Zverev, Casper Ruud, or Medvedev. It kind of shows like a shift in the game. Like we're now moving on from like obviously Sinner and Alcaraz, but like behind that, it's like Menchik, Musetti, like and like if Jack Draper was playing, it would probably be like him baked into that too. So it's like we're done with these like former relevant guys.
We just skipped that generation, dude.
Yeah.
They're probably so pissed off because it went from the big 3 just to these 2.
I know it definitely changed a good bit. Yeah, so your point, just a good point. Draper obviously not here. Arthur Feast not here. So yeah, it could have looked a little different.
Yeah. All right, boys. I think that's a wrap. We're going to be obviously posting a lot of different content based on our predictions, based on what happens. We're going to have a graphic that's going to show what we predicted and hold us accountable, and then we'll see what the challenge is going to be or the penalty for losing. I don't know. We'll have to think on that one.
We'll come up with something spicy here. Rish, how can people follow you along?
Yeah, so we have Inside Sports Network. We're on Twitter, the Gram. You can just come to InsideSportsNetwork.com. A lot of our content started as golf-based, and now we have a new tennis product. So whether you're just following along, want to get engaged with the game, whether you're looking to make, bets on tennis or play daily fantasy tennis, we have content around all of it. So come find us at Inside Sports Network, and I appreciate you boys having me on.
Yeah, no, it was a blast. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for being here, man. All right, with that, I'm your boy Lou.
And I'm G. See you next time.